The Secret Service has apparently moved out of Trump Tower, and instead of leasing a swanky apartment inside the building to house the Secret Service that protects the president and his family, they're actually now living in a trailer on the sidewalk right outside of Trump Tower. The reason for this move that actually happened a week or two ago is because there was a, quote, leasing dispute between the Secret Service, the federal government, and Donald Trump's own business. Now, keep in mind, this is not the military who's leasing the space in there from someone else not involved with the Trump business. This is the Secret Service who was leasing space directly from Donald Trump's own business, which means the money paid for that lease went directly back into Donald Trump's pocket. That was taxpayer money, by the way. But they couldn't come to an agreement, so a spokesperson for the Trump administration says that, look, we find this to be more cost-effective, having the Secret Service basically live in a trailer outside of Trump Tower than having them live inside. Now, they didn't specifically explain the details of this leasing dispute, but the fact that they said it's going to be more fiscally responsible to have them living on the street means that Donald Trump wanted to charge them more money, more of our taxpayer money that would go directly into his pocket, in order to live in his building to protect him and his family. Donald Trump literally put money and profits over the safety of his wife and children. Because remember, he's got an 11-year-old son. Now, they may not live in Trump Tower at the moment, and Donald Trump has not been there since Inauguration Day, but they can still go back anytime they want. Melania and Barron will likely go back there, at least for visits and vacations and whatnot. And Trump thinks that their security is less important than getting more money from leasing that area. Instead, the Secret Service will be stationed outside, and they said maybe, if they can, they'll have people stationed throughout the building if the president or his family actually come there. But it's still not the same as having them all together convened in an office right below the Trump penthouse. Do you see how disgusting this story is? Donald Trump wanted to price gouge his own Secret Service at the expense of the U.S. taxpayers, at the expense of his family's safety, just so that he could make a few more dollars. That's the kind of human being that we're dealing with, folks. That's the kind of human being that people in this country thought, yeah, he'd make a good president. He has my best interests at heart. He doesn't even have the best interests of his own family at heart. So what makes you think they're out there, average voter for Donald Trump, that he gives a damn about what happens to you? The only thing this man cares about is how much money he has in his bank account, and the safety, the well-being of himself and his family is secondary to the almighty dollar. That is the only thing that Donald Trump respects, and it is the only thing that Donald Trump thinks is of any value in this country. If you like this video, make sure that you like, comment, and share, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to help support Ring of Fire, go to patreon.com/TheRingOfFire, become a monthly patron to help support independent progressive media.